Let's just have a chat about Pegboard Foundations and its benefits to you guys within your businesses. It delivers powerful design prototyping, which will enhance project and sign-off workflow. It will increase companies' productivity by 50% as a minimum. Simplification of highly complex dynamic websites and a fast return on investment to your business. So what are the correlating features that are around that? It is a prototyping tool. It delivers visual, non-coding environment, simple CSS implementation, a drop and drag design surface, reusable libraries, and that one-click export function. So what's the workflow that surrounds Pegboard Foundations? And it's a simple four-step process. Step one, we import your designs or PSDs into Pegboard Foundations via Fireworks and begin templating. Step two, set the colour palette and the CSS styler. Step three, input symbols from libraries. And step four, one-click export again to the Pegboard CMS. So let's have a look at Foundations in a little bit more detail. We're going to use the Pegboard website design as an example tonight to show off the capabilities and build processes of Pegboard Foundations. Pegboard Foundations, as you've already heard, integrates into Adobe Fireworks CS5, which is the latest version of the Adobe suite, and utilises all of its functionality, but extends it a whole lot further. Foundations is all about the build process, and as I've just described, we can take a PSD and open it up in Foundations via Fireworks. From here, we can cut our templates from our PSDs. So using the new Foundations Template Explorer, which we're opening up there, we can actually preview all of our templates that we have within the system, and whether it's an old project that we've got in the system, whatever templates we're looking for, we can actually go in there and have a look and preview them and then put them onto our design surface in one click. So let's have a look at that next step. And this is a pretty exciting development, and it's setting the colour palettes and CSS styles. One of the great benefits of Foundations is the ability to preset both your CSS and colour palettes for the website that you may be producing. Firstly, what we want to do is set up our colour themes, and this is something very new, by going to the Pegboard palette selector. So here I can select my header, title, or text colours, which will be automatically picked up within our CSS for the project. We also have the flexibility to add as many different themes for the project that we may need. Foundations delivers automation from what was a time-consuming process of manipulating CSS throughout the site. Of course, we can keep coming back to this throughout the build process. And again, another exciting development in Foundations is the new Pegboard CSS styler. Let's have a look at that. This element allows you to create your CSS for your HTML and Pegboard symbols in a preview WYSIWYG environment, taking away the need to ever manually edit your CSS for projects, which is a big move. Again, saving significant time. So let's have a look at that. And it's open here. We've got two options. We can have a look at our HTML elements, and we can also have a look at our Pegboard symbols, and we'll get into symbols in a lot more detail as we go forward. Within our HTML elements, they're all listed there, and next to those you can see numbers in brackets, and that's telling us how many examples that we might have of a paragraph in this case. So let's have a look at that paragraph. There they all are in the preset column, and if we double click on that paragraph, we have a live browser environment preview on the left hand side. And what we can do here on the UI editor on the right is we can actually manipulate our CSS via sliders as much as we want, and that's automatically changing our CSS. Now this correlates absolutely with the website and the design that you're actually trying to match up. So it makes it very, very quick for you to actually start to manipulate all of that CSS and get what you need to get to for that website. Of course, knowing some of you want to have a look at that code, we can switch back to also having a look at that from the code perspective for our CSS, and you can manipulate that at any stage as well. If we go into Pegboard symbols, we'll have a look at the menu, and we've pop the Pegboard menu already into this and it'll load up. The great thing here is if you've got 5, 10 projects that you've done in the past in Foundations and you've got different types of menus that you've set up, you can actually pop all of those menus into the libraries and they will be able to be looked at and used what is closest to your design that you're trying to achieve. Then manipulate the CSS from the sliders that you just saw, and you can create obviously all of your menus and slide them straight into the design surface, which we'll see in a sec as well. So in this case we've got our menu up there and everything that I've just suggested, all of our CSS and also the ability to use the sliders as well. This is a fabulous development in website production, ensuring that design flexibility is amplified whilst limiting hours in production, as I'm pretty sure most of you can see the benefits there. And so far we've looked at step 1, which is importing our PSDs in and creating our templates. We've also covered step 2 with the Pegboard CSS styler. Now we want to move into inputting our Pegboard symbols onto our design surface. This is the fun bit, by the way. So what is a symbol? So far I've probably mentioned it 20 times, but it is every conceivable functional and dynamic element on a website. These symbols interact with the Pegboard CMS directly to display content and pick up functionality throughout the site. There are 143 flexible Pegboard symbols in Pegboard Foundations. So let's show you a few now. We've got our page template up on the screen, and what we are looking to do is slide some symbols into these bottom 3. We want to do a content region, a news summary, and we want to do an events summary in here. So first of all, let's go into our symbol library and pop in a content region into the site. So we simply go into the symbols library, go to our common library, pick our Pegboard content region, and here's the great part. If you're unsure what symbol you've actually selected in this point, we can go in, there's a preview of what the symbol is and also its description. And we simply add that onto the design surface, give it a name, and that'll pop it directly onto that design surface in Fireworks. There it is. Now we're not happy with that sizing, it's pretty terrible actually, for the design space that we've got there. So what we want to be able to do, obviously we can drag this anywhere we want. So, and this is where Symbols has the power, is if we don't want it to be there, we can actually pop it in the middle if we wanted to, or anywhere within the site. So it's pretty powerful. But we're not happy with its size, so what we want to do is go and resize that content region, and we're getting those sizes right and the constraints right. Now we can stretch that and get it to size that we're happy with, pixel perfect, and simply there's your content region done. No more mucking around with properties, no more having to spend a lot of time playing around with code. It's simply slip that into the design surface and you're done. So let's do the events summary now. So again, it's the same process. So we're going into our symbols library, find our events, we grab the tag, there's our preview of it, and pop it into the surface. We name it again, in this case we'll call it events, and we'll slide that into the surface as well. Okay, so pretty easy, huh? And let's do the news item. And at this point you're going, well, yeah, what if I don't like the way that looks, that symbol, and how can I actually, you know, change that symbol? And this is where you've got that full flexibility that Pegboard's always delivered to you, continuing to come through so that you guys have got control. Now, in this case, we're not happy with that gap. If you can go back. We're not happy with the gap between the date and the summary compared to what we've got over there on the events. And what we want to do is we just want to move those across. So every element is broken up into separate elements, and we can basically go through and move anything that we want. So we can pop other tags and other symbols into or on top of symbols. So again, we can create exactly what we're looking for and grab all that dynamic content that needs to drive that site into these symbols. And that's a huge step forward in respect to web design, and it's pretty exciting. So if we click back down, and there we have it. It's all there, it's all fine. Remember that as you drop and drag symbols, they're automatically inheriting the colours and the CSS styles that you've already set up. And that leaves nothing to be done in the process. Again, eliminating time in that build process. Okay, so we've done that, and let's now have a look at symbol properties. In this case, we're going to look at a menu, and within the menu, obviously down the bottom of our screen, we have all the properties that are relevant to that particular menu structure. So again, you've got that full flexibility to go in, get it exactly right as you need, and to pop that onto that design surface. And in this case, you know, it makes it very simple. Different symbols have different properties, which again allows you to, you're only getting what you need. So again, it will be simple. Depending on, you know, if it's a content region, it'll have 2 or 3 different properties associated with it that you need to go and edit if you need to go and edit. So again, that flexibility is there. Another powerful part of Foundations are the custom libraries. Any changes that you make to any pegboard symbols are always accessible in the future. Not only that, but when you drag an old symbol into a new project, again, they're going to inherit the styles and colours that you've set up in this new project. And if you can imagine, that's going to make things awfully easy into the future as you build up these libraries. We touched on pegboard extensions, which was our yellow circle in our Venn diagram at the beginning of the presentation, which allows for new modules and third-party integration into pegboard, and is also our programmer's environment. With extensions, you can also create your own symbols and pop them into Foundations for the use of all the production team on any project moving forward. And again, that's a pretty powerful thing. So all of a sudden you've got full control A to Z within your agency for your programmers to be able to create new symbols, drop them into Foundations, and both the designers and the building guys can utilise those symbols and simply drag them into the surface. Our last step is our one-click launch process. Once we have finished inputting our symbols throughout our site, we simply hit Publish to Website button, and this will upload our files and convert our templates ready to be used by Pegboard CMS. With Pegboard Foundations comes a full development server, and this is pretty important for all agencies to utilise. It will carry a full sandbox environment for you of Pegboard CMS in its entirety, including the whole module set. This will allow for multiple websites to be developed at any time and deliver an internal workflow for building websites across your entire team. We are very proud of Pegboard Foundations, not only because of what it delivers, but because it has been the industry's desire not only to have a CMS that stands alone in the market, but a way of easily building with a CMS that ensures that the whole process is integrated from start to finish. We strongly believe that Pegboard leads globally on this standing. I hope you've enjoyed the Foundations presentation. Thank you.